Hello, wherever you are in any part of the world. Hello from my heart to yours.
In this world, accessible kindness and ethical blindness. So please excuse my sarcastic tone. I'm a bit underwhelmed by the sample shown. Mr. Bistro fraternity guy, you got my ass full of bloodshot eyes. Get drunk and fight every night. Idolize Bradley, belittle women's rights. Homophobic, racist, and don't give a fucking hey. Do you think you can drive a bigger truck? So wear your baseball cap to decide to let everyone know that you're a nice guy. So cool, we're so impressed. Lots of chicks in a barrel chest. Cause you're a real man. Punch for punch, gonna piss in your face while you're passed out drunk. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. He's a nice guy, but all of you are assholes. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. She's a nice guy, but all of you are assholes. Nice guys rule the planet. I just can't understand it. But could define by deception and lies. Social Darwinism and an overdose of pride. Fuck off, jerk off. I don't wanna hear it. Fuck off, jerk off. Read into the lyrics, cause everybody gets their just desserts. As long as you remember that nice guys finish first. You're next on the list. Such a nice guy who speaks through his fists. Prick with a penchant for messing with heads. A broken nose for dinner and breakfast in bed. Alcoholic, paranoid, and suicidal too. But you'll probably kill her before she gets away from you. Screws in the blood, letting cry. All your friends say that you're a nice guy. Have a drink, this one's on me. Look, you're doing fine, losing to your disease. Comatose, I'll pack your bags. Bury you like castrated gag. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. We're all nice guys, but all of you are assholes. He's a nice guy, she's a nice guy. Hey, Tom Bo's a nice guy. All of you are assholes. Nice guys rule the planet. The public limited. Put a body by deception and lies. Social Darwinism and an overdose of pride. Fuck off, jerk off. I don't wanna hear it. Fuck off, jerk off. Read into the lyrics. So let the fucking spill quench your thirst. As long as you remember that nice guys finish first.
Everybody, welcome to the Plex. We do this show live on Sundays at 7 p.m. Pacific, right here on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/Echoplex Media. If you have listened to this podcast before and you liked it, you could support this project at patreon.com/Echoplex, or even better, at eplex.store. Just sign up at the $5 level or higher, and you get the entire show, including red lights, sent directly to your inbox. I would say the next morning, but that's a lie. That'd be the next afternoon, possibly the evening, possibly the nighttime, because I am not a morning person. Anyway, I'm producer Dave. You can find me on Blue Sky at Plex-Dave. Also on the 21st of March, you can find me at The Vault in Reading. I'll be rocking the discotheque at Reading's only gay bar. And we usually have some songs that we play at the beginning of the show, but I have a different song here. And Petty K and the Ruffies, they want you to know something. It's important.
nation of the 51st state. Afghanistan or soda's a pretty good name. So call up your contractors, let's get courageous. Not our fault, you're a market that's underdeveloped. Not our fault, you buy the bullets. We're just the ones who sell them. Our investments have grown, not so safe on their own. You can bet they'll be sad when our guns have gone home. When the drone's here for dinner, he won't use the door. Your orphans will grow up to settle the score. So embrace a solution where everyone wins. Bring me your family, sign up your friends. Your life is a marching plugged into a chart. Oh, your warlords need weapons, so get a head start. Won't you run, refugee, run? You're out of the frying pan into the slum. Oh, run, refugee, run. Welcome to border camp, we're glad you could come. They'll let you back in when the fighting's all done. Something tells me the next 30 years will be a whole lot of fun. A whole lot of fun. So embrace a solution where everyone wins. Bring me your family, sign up your friends. Well, a nation that's fighting is building and mining. Your cities need jobs and your terror needs funding. Our country's so beautiful, and it's more than willing to do a little killing. Yours is sandy and hot and miserable. You might as well keep drilling.
Smedley Butler approves. Anyway, speaking of war, I guess there's a war, and we're hoping that I don't know, less people die than might otherwise die. I don't fucking know. But the government has some propaganda for you about the war, and I'm going to show you two pieces of it.
Wake up, Daddy son.
Welcome home, son.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
What will you do without freedom?
Mavericks inbound.
You can't conceive of what I'm capable of.
Finishing this fight.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
I'm here to fight for truth and justice in the American way.
I am the danger.
Time to find out.
Maximum effort.
Here it comes.
Now end this.
Flawless victory.
Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, this is fucking, come on, dude. It's so bad. It's so on the nose, dude. And there's more. There's so much fucking propaganda coming out of the White House about this right now, but I picked two. And by picked two, I mean like I had 9. So I picked 2. Here's another one. This one's a vertical video, because that's what we all like, is vertical propaganda. It's only 13 seconds.
You want to see me do it again? You want to see me do it again? You want to see me do it again?
Jesus fucking Christ, guys. That's fucked up, dude. I don't know, man. I mean, they didn't have to do SpongeBob dirty like that. So with this propaganda going around, Iran also is putting some propaganda out. I saw this and I was like, I watched it like a couple times because I was like, this can't be fucking real. This is real. This is on NBC News, and here is Iran's foreign minister talking about the potential for a ground conflict. I don't know, whatever.
Boots on the ground in Iran. Are you afraid of a U.S. invasion in your country?
No, we are waiting for them.
You are waiting for the U.S. military to invade the ground troops?
Yes, because we are confident that we can confront them, and that would be a big disaster for them.
So you're saying that Iran...
I mean, I don't know, man. Look at the balls on that guy. Although he is saying that as he sits here, probably in New York City, right, where bombs are not falling on him. But oh man, all right. So I don't know if you know this. This was both proactive and defensive. That's according to Marco Rubio, who I guess Donald Trump isn't referring to as little Marco anymore. But here's Marco Rubio. It's defensive, but also it is also proactive and defensive.
Does Congress have to weigh in? Does Congress have to weigh in? Is the president declaring war, and does Congress have to weigh in? And was there an imminent threat? Did you tell lawmakers that there was an imminent threat?
There absolutely was an imminent threat, and the imminent threat was that we knew that if Iran was attacked, and we believed they would be attacked, that they would immediately come after us. And we were not going to sit...
The imminent threat was that someone was going to attack them, so we attacked them. Come on, dude. Get the whole fuck out of here.
There and absorb a blow before we responded, because the Department of War assessed that if we did that, if we waited for them to hit us first after they were attacked, and by someone else, Israel attacked them, they hit us first, and we waited for them to hit us, we would suffer more casualties and more deaths. We went proactively in a defensive way to prevent them from inflicting higher damage. Had we not done so, there would have been hearings on Capitol Hill about how we knew that this was going to happen, and we didn't have to prevent more casualties and more loss of life.
I feel like in a scenario where your ally, in this case Israel, is going to attack another country, let's say Iran, and you're worried that if Iran is attacked by Israel, that Iran is going to like start shooting shit off at all your stuff in the region, and you would like to prevent that. There is another option, actually. You could maybe encourage your ally to chill the fuck out, right? I mean, I don't know with this particular ally how likely that fucking strategy is to work. But I mean, you could have tried that instead of just being like, oh, well, you're going to attack. Well, if you attack, they're going to attack people. So we got to attack them too, because what really fucking prevents war is to just increase the number of people involved in the war. That's what I heard. Here is Mike Johnson also talking about how it's actually a defensive operation. This is absolutely insane. And I don't think anybody believes this crap.
Barrage of missiles at our people, our troops, our assets, our citizens in the region and our installations. We're taking that out. We had to. It's a defensive operation. And secondly, we had to take their navy down. That's effectively what, in layman's terms, that's what's happening right now.
The world is a safer place now that the much feared Iranian navy is gone. I'm sure they have boats, but I don't know, man. I'm on the coast here, and on the list of things, if I was worried about a foreign threat, it wouldn't be like an Iranian naval vessel that I would be worried about. Jesus fucking Christ. It is a defensive war that we started. Why? I don't know, man. I guess like there's just people that are just, America's a very, very, Americans really love war. And so, I mean, it's not really that hard actually to sell a fucking war to the American people, right? You don't have to manufacture the consent so much as like assemble it here, right? The consent is already out there. You just got to put that shit together. I don't know why it is, but man, fucking if they're Americans, I'm even on Blue Sky and I'm seeing a bunch of these libs. They're like, oh, are you supporting the Ayatollah? I'm like, well, he's dead. No. What? Hella fucking warmongering ass shit libs all up on fucking Blue Sky. Anyway, here is Jake Tapper talking to Chris Murphy. Chris Murphy is I believe a senator. And Jake Tapper is going to ask, why don't you support the troops? Which is, of course, why don't you support the troops? Fuck, man. But I think this guy gives a pretty good answer, actually.
The administration is reportedly weighing Congress to approve an additional $50 billion in funding for these operations. You have said you're a hell no, not just a no, on funding the war. We have seen this movie before. We know that vote will be cast as, especially if you run for higher office, you voting against the troops.
Oh, come on. I mean, the American people don't want this war. They don't want this war. They have seen what happens when American troops go into places like Iraq, places like Afghanistan. Ultimately, we get a lot of people killed. We waste a lot of dollars. The one thing the American people are clear about is that they do not want the United States dragged into another long-term war in the Middle East. If you support the troops, then you should be voting against funding this war so that we get our troops out of harm's way. Virtually nothing good happened from sending thousands of Americans to die inside Iraq in the 2000s. And if we don't learn that lesson, then shame on every single one of us.
So,
yeah, I mean, he's right. And there, I don't know, man, this is, I don't know. Like the consent, it was a little, I'm like of two minds here. One, I do think like I think like nobody should be supporting this. This is really stupid. People are like, oh, it's a distraction from Epstein. I'm not sure that that's the case necessarily. I like really think that like basically if my working hypothesis here is that Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu were having a discussion, and Benjamin Netanyahu was like, oh well, we're going to strike Iran, and Trump was like, not without America, you're not gonna, something like that, right? I think it wasn't so much that the government the lie is that the U.S. government was worried that if Israel struck Iran, that Iran would strike the U.S. But what's really going on is like America has never met a target it didn't want to bomb. And so like, it doesn't matter who's in power. We would have probably joined in, although I'm not sure if the election would have gone the other way. It's possible, well, not likely, but possible that President Kamala Harris would have been like, you want to do what? But then she would have been like, all right, well, we'll go anyway, because this is America. So I don't know if you know this, but this is we're gonna call this clip Schrodinger's nuclear program, right? Because Trump gloriously and magnificently and victoriously destroyed Iran's nuclear program, like 8 or 9 months ago, 6 months ago, something like that. But also we don't really know. It's like that cat, you know.
If we didn't hit within 2 weeks, they would have had a nuclear weapon. If we didn't do the B-2 attack a number of months ago, they would have a nuclear weapon. And when crazy people have nuclear weapons, bad things happen.
Yeah, I agree. This is true. Yes, sir. You were correct. When crazy people have nuclear weapons, bad things happen. Example, the United States, the only country to ever use two in anger.
So we're in very good shape now. I want to let you know that, and we will continue forward. But it's a great display of military strength, and I'm very proud to have, with some of the people in the room, both senators and congressmen, we rebuilt, and women, he was going to say they rebuilt the military, dude. For how long has Iran been on the verge? Like there was a thing, and I didn't show it, but there's like, you can go back to like the late 90s. You go back to before 9/11, and there was propaganda coming largely from Israel, but not just from Israel, from the United States, about how Iran is right around the corner from getting a fucking nuclear weapon. They're always right around the corner from getting a nuclear weapon. And that's because they probably aren't. And we reserve the right to fucking bomb people. And it turns out, did you know that we've been at war for 47 years with Iran? I don't know what happened 47 years ago. Something must have happened that made their whole shit unstable. It couldn't have had anything to do with the United States.
We don't control Israel's foreign policy, but we do control ours. And I think that's what you've seen this administration do, understanding that this case has been made for 47 years. We've been at war with Iran for 47 years. It's just now that we have a president who is willing to end it. We knew that this was coming, and we had to take the proactive steps to protect U.S. interests and troops in the region.
So anybody who doesn't, around 47 years ago, the United States was involved in a process by which we deposed the leader of Iran. That didn't really go well, actually. Whoopsie poopsie. So the people that were friendly to us then got overthrown. Like, none of this would have happened without us. But don't worry, none of this is our fault. None of this is blowback. This is from ABC this week. We have always been at war with Iran. I was I was 1 year old the last time we weren't at war with Iran.
But this is an important point. This is ending a 47-year war that Iran began in 1979, that they began under Jimmy Carter. President Trump is taking bold, decisive action to end it, and thank God for it.
That fucking host. He was like, what? Friends, the United States has not been at war with Iran for 47 years. This is incorrect. Also, 1979 isn't 47 years. Oh, well, yeah, it is actually. Never mind. Boo. I'm the ultimate math nerd. So, I think they're just talking about the hostages, right? The Iran hostage situation. So, I don't know if you know this. This one's fun too. There's a War Powers Act, right, where the Congress holds the purse, and well, the Constitution says only the Congress can declare war, but we're not even in constitutional terms. But did you know that bringing up the War Powers Act during a time of war is just inappropriate? What? I fucking can't believe some of the things these people are saying. This is like dumber than the lead up to the Iraq War. Watch this.
Fortunately for America, we once again rejected it, and I think we always will. It's a terrible time to bring up a resolution like this while our troops here we are, 4 days in, while our troops are in harm's way fighting for the freedom of the region, for our country, for our very good friend and ally Israel, obviously. And at a time like this, we would try to put forward a resolution saying that no, you shouldn't be doing it. It's
yes. How dare you? This is the no backsies clause of the War Powers Act. This guy's like, what a terrible time to bring up who has the authority to declare war after we're bombing the shit out of some country. How dare you, sir? I'm still eating. How dare you bring my bill? What are you talking about? I'm busy drinking my fourth drink. Why do you want my credit card? You fucking assholes. Oh, this is just going to be, this is the lightning round of fucking insanity. Here's 14 seconds from John Fetterman. He's on Hannity's show, and he's just everything's great. This is a great war. This is my favorite war. It was great for everybody involved.
Region. It's a good thing for Israel. It's good for America. And so for me, that's why stand with the country over perhaps what the base may demand.
Homeboy, Trump's base also doesn't like this, right? It's not the libs, it's not the left. A lot of shit libs are like, well, I don't know, it's national security, because that's what shit libs be doing. Shit libs be shit libbing. There's not a whole lot of difference between a neoliberal and a neoconservative in the end. He's like, I don't know, I'm going to stand with the country. Well, I don't know, man. The country seems not to want this. The polling is pretty bad on this. So it's okay, actually. Remember during the last election, remember when he and in 2020 as well, he was, and I think in 2016, he was like, hey, the other guy or the other gal or whatever, they're going to get you into a war with Iran. I don't know. Anybody remember that? I remember that. I was like, well, this is bullshit. I just didn't think anybody was going to go to war with Iran. I was like, I don't think either of y'all are going to war with Iran, but it turns out that I was wrong. Anyway, here, that's fine though, actually. Like, I don't know. Should it have been in his stump speech that we were going to bomb Iran? I don't know.
I think the question is, if you can't clearly articulate why this started, how do you tell people how it's ending?
How do you not clearly articulate how it started? 1983, 1989, 1980, our entire
I don't remember hearing any Republicans say we should vote for Donald Trump because he's going to go to war with Iran for those reasons. I mean, the president actually ran on not going to war with Iran.
So every single policy decision a president makes has to be the centerpiece of a campaign speech. I think.
Well, I think if you say you're not going to do something and then you do it, the president's big allies are saying they're pretty worried about what's actually happening in Iran right now.
Well, I think the reality is America first foreign policy means we're going to stop sending tens and hundreds of billions of dollars to countries that want to kill us.
Oh man, I was real skeptical. If you remember, it was like during the the 2020 election, or was it 2020 election that Caitlin Collins, I think, started at CNN. And I think she came to CNN from, if I'm not mistaken, Tucker Carlson's rag, Daily Caller. And she's by far been the best interviewer and one of the best people like in the press pool, because she's like, but wait, you said this before. And they're like, oh, don't worry about that. So, we got a rogues gallery of all the fucking people we've been covering for the last bunch of years. Here we go. Here's a tiny dancer, Ben Shapiro, a friend of the show. I do admire his eyebrows. He's just doing the straight up, you're either with us or you're against us. I didn't look, but I bet we could have found clips of Ben Shapiro like saying that the reason he voted for Donald Trump is because Kamala Harris was going to get us into war with Iran. Like all these motherfuckers said that. But anyway, here's Ben Shapiro. You're either with us or you're against us.
What will the Iranian government do? What will the Ayatollahs do? Well, they have one play and one play only. One play. And that is they are counting on the Cuck coalition. They are counting on the lying left in the United States and the horseshoe right to undermine the United States and Israel right here. That is the entire game. That's the entire game.
Wait, they're counting on they're counting on America, the United States, to be a rational actor and to maybe like not start a fucking another war in the Middle East. Well, that's a bad plan. I think Ben's right here. Little Ben is right. This is a very bad plan. Counting on the United States and Israel to act rationally.
Tried to withdraw domestic support for the operation. Now, again, that's nothing new. That's not just a thing that's happening right now and it's unique and this is some sort of crazy claim. Our military enemies always, invariably count on their useful allies and useful idiots to push their agenda. The Germans, in the lead up to World War II, counted on the American Bund, and they celebrated as the Lindbergh Right.
Wait, what?
In the United States. They deployed Lord Haw Haw against the Brits. The Japanese acted.
I'm sorry, that's not. Wait, but these are what? Okay, so he's talking about Germany and Japan. Those were like imperial powers that were like invading their neighbors. Iran, like I don't know. This is not a good comparison, right? This is not a good comparison. Iran, I don't know if I like them or not. I don't know. It seems Tehran seems like a pretty cool fucking place actually, but for all intents and purposes, they were kind of over there minding their own fucking business, so far as I could tell.
Tokyo rose to undermine American combat morale during World War II. The Viet Cong, who lost on the battlefield, counted on the American legacy media to convince Americans to abandon our victories in the KGB. The NKVD before.
Oh, that's bold. That's bold. Actually, we won Vietnam. That's fucking bold, Ben. That's very bold. Very bold. Your eyebrows are getting way out ahead of you here, friend.
Routinely utilized idiots in the United States to spread their propaganda, going all the way back to the New York Times in the early part of the 1930s with Walter Duranty. Even Baghdad Bob tried to tell the American public everything was fine in Iraq while Saddam Hussein was falling. Bizarre confluence of the lying left, Democrats who protest that we're not winning, that we can't possibly win, there's no way we can win, and the horseshoe right. Conspiracy theorists, morons, isolationists, anti-American devotees of Bernie Sanders' foreign policy. That's the stuff the Ayatollahs are counting on.
Well, they're not going to get that. They're not going to, like, no matter what the polling is on this, right? Like, even if people are against it, eventually, like, once it's been going on long enough and fucking American soldiers start dying, we're going to have regular ass people being like, you don't support the troops? I'm like, I don't know. I don't like that they're coming home in a box. I don't like that there's a fucking there's going to be like Iran is a very populous this is going to be fucked up, dude. I mean, it already is fucked up, but this is going to be fucked up. Oh, and here, this part's great. It seems like, now I don't know if this is true or not, right? Because like as things unfold in, even though this is like a one-sided war, as things unfold, you're not going to necessarily know what's going on all the time, right? They call it the fog of war, and it doesn't mean that it just gets foggy. Otherwise, San Francisco would always be at war, and so would London. But we don't know. But it seems like there's a high probability, or at least a reasonable probability, the Russians have been giving Iran some information, some targeting information on maybe where to fire their rockets and missiles and stuff. And Trump was asked about that. That's a little bit weird.
Thank you, President Trump. It sounds like the Russians are helping Iran target and attack Americans now.
That's an easy problem compared to what we're doing here. But can I be honest? It's just, I have a lot of respect for you. You've always been very nice to me. What a stupid question that is to be asking at this time. We're talking about something else. Can we keep this?
That's right. They were talking about how much they hate fucking trans people. I think this is going so bad already. They were trying to do this to and I don't think they were doing this to distract from Epstein, but let's say they were. This is going so bad now that they're fucking trotting out the we hate trans people in the fucking swimming pool fucking shit again because the Iran war, everybody hates it so much. They're like, oh, well, I don't know, could we shit on the transes? Can we shit on the transes? People are not happy with this. We'll shit on the transes. Here's Benjamin Netanyahu telling you that war is peace. And I'm only lightly paraphrasing.
Yes, I do. In fact, I hear the people are saying we're going to have an endless war here. You're not going to have an endless war because we are at this point that we've been, and Iran, this terror regime in Iran is the weakest point that it's been here since it hijacked Iran from the brave Iranian people 47 years ago. So this is going to be
wait a minute, how'd that happen?
And decisive action, and we're going to create the conditions first for the Iranian people to get control of their destiny, to form their own democratically elected government, which will make Iran a different Iran altogether, because Iran has been the main engine of war over these years. It's just 95% of all the problems you see in the Middle East are generated by Iran. And the worldwide terror network that they built is generated and orchestrated from Iran. So when you take away Iran, when you let the people of Iran have the opportunity to act to liberate themselves, free themselves from the yoke of this terror machine, you get a different future. I think that will open up the way for many peace treaties with other Arab countries, with Muslim countries. I think it changes the world. Now, of course, it's up to the people of Iran in the final count to change the government. But we are creating, America and Israel together are creating the conditions for them to do so. I think that if we go through what we plan to do, I think it will create conditions for peace. This is not an endless war. This is, in fact, something that will usher in an era of peace that we haven't even dreamed of.
Yep. Fucking George Orwell is rolling in his fucking grave right now. War is peace, friends. War is peace. I have no, I fucking was never, I fucking, like, whatever. This guy will just say anything. This guy's like a liar. And he knows that, like, warmongers will just believe what he says. I have a feeling that, like, after you bomb a country, they don't like you, right? They don't have to like the thing that you took out. They don't like you, right? So my position on this, and I think I'm right, is now the people of Iran are in a worse position than they were, probably, not better, because now bombs are falling from like warplanes that, I don't know, cost more than they spent on their military last year. We're not liberating anybody. This is what they said about Iraq. How'd that go? Did we liberate the fucking people? How about Taliban? Did we liberate people from the fucking Taliban? Nope. No, you can't. You don't liberate people by, like, bombing them. Like, it doesn't work, because you could liberate, like, to be fair, like, when Iraq invaded Kuwait, we went in and kicked Iraq out of Kuwait. And that may or may not have been the right thing to do, but then Iraq was out of Kuwait, and Kuwait was its fucking own sovereign nation again. Kuwait, with all its problems, like, whatever. But liberating people from themselves is a little bit weird. And it sounds like it's just an excuse to drop bombs on poor brown people to me. So, don't worry, though. A couple troops are dying, which is, I also don't like this narrative. 6 troops have died. I'm like, what about civilians? Like, there are people in Iran that have been blown up, right? There are people in Iran that have suffered, they've injured. There are people in Iran whose lives will never be the same, and there's a lot more than fucking 6 of them. But don't worry. American soldiers are dying. Look at these drapes.
Entrance to it right there. In fact, it looks so nice, I think I'll save money on the doors, because it can't get more beautiful than that. I picked those drapes in my first term. I always like gold, but I think we can save a lot of money. I just saved curtains. But
God, that's so gaudy, dude. Gold is so ugly. like, a nice gold ring or like a gold necklace or something that looks real good, right? Because the little accent piece and shit, like it looks good. Like, yeah, gold is like, some stuff looks good in gold, but not like your furniture, right? If I see gold furniture, I just assume that it used to be white and somebody was fucking just blowing like 3 packs of cigarettes in that room for 20 years, and that's how the furniture got that color. That's like the 80s, right? So this is a real weird one. Here's Dan Bongino, who I don't know, he's back on his bullshit as a podcaster. And what he's going to tell you is that, oh, it's just good practice, actually. Sometimes you got to practice, I'm not fucking kidding. I'm fucking stunned. This is stunning.
Now, graduate that times 1,000 to warfighters who forget about Sims and getting your fingers. Look at the chat. You know what I'm talking about. You take a sim on a cold winter day, man, sometimes you're like, I wish that wasn't, but I got to get out of here. Shit hurts. That's nothing compared to what warfighters go through. You got pilots flying sorties right now where this isn't some Maverick Top Gun exercise. Viper's dead. No, you're really dead. Like Viper's really dead. This is the real thing. This is invaluable experience for both our technology and, more importantly, for warfighters who are now getting bodies and bodies of flight hours, bodies getting flight hours, hundreds.
What about bodies caused by the flight hours?
In theater.
Oh my God, this is invaluable experience. Oh, don't worry. I mean, maybe we don't need to do this or whatever, but they got to practice on somebody. So this is like, it's just a practice war. Well, what's coming next, right? If they need this experience, what do they need this experience for? Like, what's coming next? I don't even want to know. Actually, we're going to find out what's coming next later in the docket, if you could imagine that. Lindsey Graham is going to probably tell us. Anyway, here's another one. Isn't Trump the best? He's the best. He's the best. And that's why you need to support this war, is because he's the best. Hannity thinks he's the best. Hannity's guest thinks he's the best. Everybody thinks Trump is the best. I guess they're showing a picture of this guy at dinner with Jared Kushner and somebody. I don't know. Anyway, here's a clip from a Sean Hannity show.
They were proud of it. They were proud that they had evaded all sorts of oversight protocols to get to a place where they could deliver 11 nuclear bombs.
What I wouldn't do to be a fly on the wall in that room, because Steve, you're a negotiator. You've run the most successful businesses, built some of the most beautiful golf courses. It defies all logic and reason for them to sit there as if Midnight Hammer never happened and dictate to you that the one thing that President Trump insisted on, they can't get a nuclear weapon, they're going to go forward anyway. How stupid are they? Were they? They're done. They're gone now.
Well, it was pretty silly, but they thought they could strong arm us. President Trump sent me and Jared there to really determine on his behalf whether they were serious about doing a deal that addressed his objectives, which are elimination of their missile program, elimination of their advocacy and support for proxies, which is destabilizing the entire Middle East. Elimination of their Navy so we can have freedom of the seas.
Freedom of the seas is when we decide who can have a boat.
With the shutdown of the Gulf of Hormuz. And finally, no nuclear enrichment that can get them to weapons grade, which means no nuclear bomb. And we went in there and tried to make a fair deal with them. And it was very, very clear that it was going to be impossible, probably by the end of the second meeting. But we then went back for the third meeting just to give it the last college try. And of course, they thought they wanted us to report positivity. It was not positive, that meeting.
I love how, like, special envoy, that means not really an official government person. Like, it's just like your buddy went to go take care of it. Neither Jared Kushner doesn't have any official role with the U.S. government, and I don't think this fella here does either. So it's a little bit weird to send them to negotiate because they're not really necessarily representatives of the government, but like whatever. Here is Lindsey Graham sucking up to Donald Trump as usual. And this is just amazing. This guy, dude, I don't know what's going on with this guy. I mean, I think I know what's going on with this guy, but let's not talk about that, actually.
Bibi and Trump are the modern Roosevelt-Churchill combination. Bibi and President Trump are Roosevelt-Churchill, two great wartime leaders working together to bring down evil. Iran would kill Americans in large numbers if they could. If they could build a missile to hit us, they would hit us. If they had...
Oh, this is amazing. He's comparing this to like taking out they're doing this. They're comparing this to taking out the Nazis, but like the fucking Nazis, like they fucking invaded all their neighbors. Right? Like you don't have to love Winston Churchill, you don't have to love any of these people to like understand that's not the same thing. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, anyway, here's Crazy Eyes Michelle Bachmann, who I don't know, somebody let her fucking back on TV again recently, and it's been downhill. This is actually a blessing from God. They're saying the same shit about Iraq, right? Iraq was a blessing from God too.
And so I commend Donald Trump. I commend Benjamin Netanyahu. I truly believe, Greg, maybe we can talk about that a little later, but I truly believe that God ordained these two men to be the leaders of those nations at this exact time for this exact purpose. We've all been given an opportunity to bless Israel. If we bless Israel, like I believe President Trump is doing now, then we will be blessed. I truly believe America is going to be blessed from this effort. And likewise, if we turn our back on Israel and curse them, then we're cursed as a nation. And the Bible bears that out. Again, there's only one criterion upon which nations are judged. That's how nations treat Zion. So at this moment, we have to do everything we can to ensure that President Trump has a House and a Senate that will work with him to advance peace and prosperity in America by being pro-Israel. That's why the primary is extremely important.
Right. It's the golden age, but it's not just America's golden age. It's actually the golden age for the world.
So, in case you don't know what they're talking about, these people, they believe that one day all the Jews are going to go back to Israel, and then Jesus is going to come down from fucking heaven, and it'll be during a time of war. And then the Jews that accept Jesus Christ will be raptured or some shit. This is end time shit. I don't know the exact it's end time shit though. Like somebody in chat said, oh, Iran are the religious extremists. Iran are the ones where the power in the country comes from. The silly notion about religion. Well, excuse the fuck out of you. We got a non-insignificant amount of Americans who think the end of the world is coming and that we should usher on the end of the world so that Jesus can come back. And that's why they fucking support any action we do in the Middle East, because they think that if Israel's involved, well, maybe it'll be the time that all the Jews return to Israel and fucking Jesus comes down from the sky. As you can tell, I don't believe that. And I think it's like a dangerous, if individuals believe that, whatever, people believe all kind of crazy shit, right? Like Scientologists believe that 13 trillion years ago, an intergalactic warlord named Xenu took DC-8s and put souls of people into a volcano and blew up the volcano with an H-bomb, right? But I don't think any of those people are like running foreign policy. So, this is bad. I think we're the religious fanatics. But like Donald Trump doesn't believe that shit either, but he's perfectly happy to fucking let other people talk about that shit. Donald Trump don't believe in no God. The only God Donald Trump probably believes in is himself. So this is a blast from the past here. Everybody, even Pastor John Hagee, who I think is by now must be like 114 years old, is getting in on this. Well, it's God's ordained, and thank God for this victory. He's going to call this a victory, and if it's a victory, does that mean we're done? If we can convince these people that we already won, then maybe we could stop. I don't know.
As we gather in this house today, we pray for the peace of Jerusalem and the many Christians in Iran that will now be free to worship you in spirit and in truth. The Word of God commands us to pray.
Wait, what if they get bombed? They're not free to worship anything. They just get to go meet God, I suppose.
The peace of Jerusalem, for they shall prosper that love you. We thank you for the fabulous military victory over the enemies of Israel this week. The Bible says, he that keepeth Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. We thank you for our President, Donald Trump, whose wise courage has crushed the enemies of Zion. Today we rejoice in the prophetic scriptures of Ezekiel revealing God's Operation Fury for the enemies of Israel in the near future.
So we're going to leave this up for a second here. This is like fascist iconography. Like this just looks really fashy, but also kind of cheesy, like like cheesy and fashy, right? The little stars and the little distressed font and stuff. This is like super fashy. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't even know that guy was still alive. It's unfortunate that he is, I suppose. Don't wish death on him, but won't be mad when I read his obituary. And here we have John Hagee. Oh, wait, nope. I think I already watched that one. Oh, I have it on twice. Okay, never mind. This is a live show, and I put the same link twice. Anyway, yeah, they believe this is gonna bring about the return of Jesus. So, sort of on the other side of things, like on the somebody who certainly doesn't believe in God and has made a bit of a career out of not believing in God. We have Nepo Baby and a race and IQ enthusiast, and theoretician about what happens if you preemptively nuclear strike the Middle East. This is Sam Harris, and I don't know what he said here, but I'm sure it's not good. I'm not gonna like it. He's probably banging that war drum. Watch.
I honestly think Iran is much less likely to blow back on us the way Iraq and Afghanistan did. I just think the majority of the people are in a different spot with their desperation to be rid of theocracy, right? It's a much more sophisticated culture that has been oppressed for now more than a generation. You can't say that about Afghanistan, right? You can't even say that about Iraq, and Iraq was more sophisticated than Afghanistan. I do think it's a different situation. It's like, if you're going to talk about the prospect of nation building, is probably, ironically, this is probably a good opportunity that we can't possibly take, given how bad our experience was previously. But I think it's worth assuming that the majority of the Iranian people want something like a secular democracy, or something that would be recognizably secular and democratic.
That's great. The last couple times that we that we tried to impose that in other places, it went really good. Fucking warmongering ass Sam Harris, dude. Warmongering ass Sam Harris. All right, so things are just getting dumber and dumber and dumber. Here's Glenn Beck asking he calls it George AI. It's an AI that he trained, I think, on everything Glenn Beck has ever said. And I'm not kidding. He's going to ask his own AI what the founding fathers would think about the war in Iran.
George, we are trying to not fight foreign wars and not be involved in the world's policemen. But there are times that we have to demonstrate strength.
He's got a guy there. Wait, he's got a guy there now that's supposed to be George Washington.
And conflict, but I don't know where.
That's actually a pretty impressive AI. Is that guy? Is that guy AI?
The foreign entanglement begins and where it ends.
When I was president, I did not crave power. I didn't strut in my uniform, dreaming of conquest. In fact, I begged several times to not be the general and not be the president. I didn't want it, but I understood my responsibility. And I also understood that some things that are easy to forget when you're staring down bayonets. Peace is not the default. It has to be guarded deliberately with foresight and strength. My generation lived through a fragile independence. Our new republic was surrounded, literally and figuratively.
So this is a dude, and he's just lip syncing to the fucking George AI.
By instability. Most of the founders believed that we would not survive to 1820. We thought it was an interesting experiment. European powers were sniffing the opportunities, states were threatening to splinter, loyalists were lurking. None of this was hypothetical. It was the daily background noise of early America.
So how did you protect that freedom?
Well, you said it, through strength. Weakness didn't just invite disagreement, it invited disunion. And I had already seen what happens to authority when it is too diluted. The Continental Congress couldn't pay the troops, they couldn't enforce unity or act decisively. That kind of vacuum doesn't stay empty. Either chaos fills it or another power does. And that's why I often emphasize the importance of demonstrating readiness. Not because I wanted conflict, but to discourage those who did. I said once, to prepare for war is one of the most effective means of preserving peace. That's not saber rattling, that's different. It's insurance. Think of it like this. A homeowner who never locks their door isn't more peaceful, they're just more vulnerable. By showing potential adversaries that the United States could stand united, respond quickly, and protect its liberties that it understands, I believed conflict could be prevented before it exploded. And this wasn't abstract. During the Revolution, even some Virginian leaders wanted to keep pursuing negotiations with Britain. But I came to recognize long before it became popular that some risks had to be met with resolve, not appeasement. And there is a world of difference between aggression and deterrence. I knew the line, I walked it, and I tried to draw a system that could do the same.
So I am like 99% sure that dude was an AI, right? That they just hired one of Glenn Beck's fucking friends to lip sync along with the George AI. There were like none of the telltale signs of AI. Plus he was sitting in this fucking studio with Glenn Beck. But as somebody in the chat said, that guy's eyes were open pretty wide. Maybe he'd been awake for a day or two. I don't know. Anyway, here's Fox and Friends on what comes next. I don't know if you could guess what's coming next. According to like fucking everybody, what's next? Here's what comes next. This is Fox and Friends.
In Iran with all of this going on, and the president is releasing this quote to Axios. This is what he said. He said, they are wasting their time with Khomeini's son. He is a lightweight. I have been involved in the appointment. I have to be involved in the appointment like Delcy Rodriguez in Venezuela. And I think what the president is alluding to, the CIA got involved immediately on the ground in Venezuela, and they found out who a person they could get to take over. The difference in Iran is it's an ideology, a religious ideology. And so they're having a hard time finding converts because there aren't many converts in Iran that are in high leadership positions.
He says if his son takes over, then we'll be right back at war in 5 years. And he said, his son is unacceptable to me. We want someone that will bring harmony and peace to Iran.
Yeah, evidently for the leadership prior to this conflict, nobody was high on this guy. Right. Evidently, he is even more brutal than his dad and stupider. So he's not the right person anyway.
Well, his dad didn't want him either.
Brian Kilmeade calling anybody stupid is amazing.
Yeah. And Khomeini's grandson. I mean, can we not do some evil nepotism? Nepotism's not great, especially if you're handing down the evil to another generation. In Khomeini's situation, 2 generations.
So what comes next? I don't know. I don't like any of them. They're all Muslims. They're all Muslimic. They're all Muslim. They're like looking for they're like trying to find like a Christian nationalist or something in that country, and there aren't any. Fuck it, just put fucking Eric Trump in charge. Fucking, I don't know, man. So actually, what comes next? Anybody who's been paying attention knows what's coming next. It's Cuba. Because Marco Rubio says so.
And your next one is going to be, we want to do that special Cuba. He's waiting, but he says, let's get this one finished first. We could do them all at the same time, but bad things happen. If you watch countries over the years, you do them all too fast, bad things happen. We're not going to let anything bad happen to this country.
Can't do it all at the same time. Bad things happen. Sir, it's bad to like bomb people one right after the other too. Here's Lindsey Graham. It's Cuba. Cuba's next. Cuba's next, friends. This is all fucking so stupid.
I mean, I'm not looking for a fair fight. If we get in a fight, I want to win it. I want to win it quick. I'm in Miami. You see this hat? Free Cuba. Stay tuned. Yep. The liberation of Cuba is upon us. It's just a matter of time now. You see this hat? Make Iran great. President Trump said the only way to make Iran great is for the people to take over. We're marching through the world. We're cleaning out the bad guys. We're going to have relationships with new people that will make us prosperous and safe. I've never seen anybody like it. This is Ronald Reagan plus. Donald Trump is resetting the world in a way nobody could have dreamed of a year ago. He is the greatest commander-in-chief of all time. Our military is the best of all time. Iran is going down, and Cuba is next.
All right. Well, we'll be watching what's next on Cuba. For sure, got a lot of hats there. The president.
God, these people are so crazy. Oh, these people are so crazy. This is like why you shouldn't give people power. Like, this is like, I'm not an anarchist, but I understand the argument from like anarchists. It's not great to give people, individuals, or small groups of people like a lot of power, because like this is what happens. Next, by the way, I don't know, maybe just fuck around. Let's piss off Spain too while we're at it.
Right to stop, but under that one law, I didn't have the right to charge them. So I have the right to license them, but I don't have the right to charge, which is frankly ridiculous. But the right was given to us by the Supreme Court. And we have the right, as an example, we talked about Spain. I could tomorrow stop, or today, even better, stop everything having to do with Spain. All business having to do with Spain. I have the right to stop it. Embargoes, do anything I want with it. And we may do that with Spain. What do you think?
Well, sir, I think we're going to talk about it with you. I know that you have strong power. The Supreme Court clarified. We know you can use it, and if you need to use it to assure national and economic security, we'll do it.
Scott, do you have an opinion?
Sir, I agree. The Supreme Court reaffirmed your ability to implement an embargo, and as we've talked, from your first term, the Section 301s and the 232s have withheld more than 4,000 lawsuits, and USTR and Commerce are going to begin investigations, and we'll move forward with those.
And we've instituted a 15% tariff on everybody, as you know, and just used. I'll tell you, we had a couple of paragraphs written in that opinion that were really incredible. Justice.
Just like, fuck it, just embargoes Spain. I don't know why he's pissed off at Spain. I fucking didn't even bother looking, but I guess he's pissed off at Spain. So, I don't know if you know this, but the president likes gold. So here's what we've done. We've stolen a bunch of gold from Venezuela, apparently, which is, I don't know if you know this, good for the Venezuelan people. I don't know, man.
We signed the first licenses for critical minerals to start flowing and precious metals. On Friday, there was $100 million of gold that came from Venezuela to the United States. That's for both industrial purposes as well as other commercial uses. Venezuela's got $500 billion of resources of gold, but they've also got other critical minerals, bauxite for aluminum, which we need for defense and for consumer goods. They've got coal resources that can be used to help generate power, to help us win the AI arms race with China. So they're rich in minerals. And just like they passed an amazing hydrocarbon law back in January, in 3 weeks their legislature did that in response to the U.S. That's creating opportunities for investment, for human capital and financial capital in their country haven't seen. And now on Monday, in tomorrow, they're introducing a similar kind of change in regime of the laws for all of the critical minerals in mining. And so when we were down there this week with both oil and gas executives from the U.S. and the top mining executives, these folks are excited about getting back to Venezuela. They were often there before in the past. They see great opportunity. And I tell you,
so what he's saying here is untrue. As so far as I can tell, none of the American or European oil companies want to go in there because I'm guessing they don't want to go there because they're going to get their shit rocked, right? They're going to be, we'll call them terrorists, but it'll just be like an insurgent force. That's like, what do you do? What? You're doing what? And then they're going to blow it up.
The people of Venezuela, they are going to be putting up a statue to President Trump as a great liberator because he is open.
I bet he's going to make him do it too. He's like, oh yeah, we could bomb you some more if you don't make a fucking statue of me. I'm fucking not gonna. Yeah, I believe that shit for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
And after more than 2 decades, the enthusiasm is high on the ground level in Venezuela for what their future can be. And again, fun to be bringing home the gold for America on Friday from Venezuela. Very strong there with Delcy Rodriguez and the leadership in Venezuela.
You sound like an Olympic athlete bringing home the gold. Now that
part of it, President Trump has promised a golden age of abundance. So what a better way to kick things off with Venezuela to have the first critical mineral literally be solid gold bars coming back as part of this new relationship with Venezuela.
Well, we look forward to the solid gold bars photo op. We would like to be there for that one. Secretary Burgum.
Dude, we're just fucking straight up pillaging this shit like feudal times. Steal the gold! Like, come on. Like, what the fuck? This is so bad. This is all so bad. Friends, we're gonna get we got one more thing about the US foreign policy. And this is only 15 seconds, but I guess the United States has a new president. It's Melania Trump. She presided over a UN Security Council meeting.
Good afternoon. The 10,113 meeting of the Security Council is called to order.
Like everybody there is like, what? What? Could you imagine? Fucking, you're like, wait a minute, why? That lady like a handbag influencer, like on TikTok. What's going on? What's going on? Oh man, this is so bad. So now this is stuff about domestic policy. Kristie Noem went in front of the House of Representatives to answer questions, and I have a bunch of clips from this. And it's all kind of depressing. Not great. Some of it's funny, though. Some of it is funny. Here's the first one. Here's Jamie Raskin versus Cosplay Kristie.
But only a few hours after they were gunned down by your agents, you called Renee a domestic terrorist. You said Alex committed an act of domestic terrorism. Alex's parents responded to your calling their son a domestic terrorist. They said the sickening lies told about our son by the administration are reprehensible and disgusting. And I want to give you a chance before the entire country to correct your false and defamatory claim. Based on what you know today, Madam Secretary, were Renee Good and Alex Preddy domestic terrorists?
Congressman, what happened in Minnesota in those 2 incidents was an absolute tragedy.
Were they domestic terrorists, as you said to the country?
My condolences to their families, because I know that their lives will never be the same after that happened.
Is that an apology for what you said?
We, in those instances, offer as much information as we can from officers and agents on the ground in a chaotic scene that gets.
I'll repeat my question, reclaiming my time. Based on what you know today, Madam Secretary, based on what you know today, were Renee Good and Alex Preddy domestic terrorists?
As you know, there's ongoing investigations that are being led by the FBI.
But you didn't wait for the investigation, did you? You didn't wait for the evidence. You proclaimed that they were domestic terrorists at the time. Why did you do that?
And you didn't wait to attack our law enforcement.
Why did you do that?
We're going into a dangerous situation.
Why did you call them domestic terrorists?
Because our ICE officers and our HSI officers that day risked their lives to protect that scene. So evidence could be reclaimed. So it could be used in the investigation. Because those violent rioters that were
So you're proud of the fact that you called them domestic terrorists? Is that what you're telling America?
HSI officers put their lives on the line to protect that scene, so evidence so we could have.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. But you told a lie about them. You said that they were domestic terrorists. Do you regret that?
I offer my condolences to those family. And again,
based on what you know today, were Renee Good and Alex Preddy domestic terrorists?
There's ongoing investigations, and so I
So
cannot.
you still don't know? You think that's an open question?
I would think you would want there to still be investigations going into these situations.
Well, you stated the conclusion 2 hours after they were killed that they were domestic terrorists. I wanted to give you an opportunity to correct the record, not just for their family, but for everybody in America who believes in the truth and fairness and honesty.
In every situation, as facts come out, we relay.
You know, your acting ICE director, Todd Lyons, came before Congress. He said he had no knowledge whatsoever that Alex Preddy and Renee Good were domestic terrorists. None. This is your guy. He said that. He admitted that that was wrong. Why won't you admit it?
I will tell you the investigation's still ongoing, and we'll.
So do you regret speaking before the investigation?
I would say that in those situations.
You regret that?
She doesn't give a fuck about those people's family. At least she's not denying it, I guess. At least not there. So here we go. Uh-oh. Except she did deny it. Oh, she did deny it. Whoopsie poopsie.
Ma'am, I did not call him a domestic terrorist. I said it appeared to be an incident of.
I think the parents saw it for what it was.
That is the definition of domestic terrorism. This individual who came with weapons and ammunition to stop a law enforcement operation of federal law enforcement officers committed an act of domestic terrorism. That's the facts.
So she's like saying, well, I said that it was an act of domestic terrorism, but isn't like the description in this case like informed by the behavior, right? Like when they say domestic terrorist, they mean like the behavior. So she's like, this was an act of domestic terrorism, which it wasn't. He was just there. Nobody even, I don't even want to like relitigate this shit, but nobody even knew that he had a fucking gun until they like had him on the ground. Like, dumbass. These people are fucking, they're just lying. So here's the third one. This is going to be Cosplay Kristie Gnome versus Tom Tillis. This is going to be about the dog. I'm so glad somebody brought up the dog. Because the homegirl, she killed a dog.
Secretary, I read your book last week. And honestly, some of the parts of it impressed me, but some of it distresses me. And I'll give you a good example of one that does. The passage where you talk about killing a dog that was 14 months old. I train dogs, all right? And you are a farmer. You should know better. You should know.
Dude, she's not a farmer. She bought a plot of land. That doesn't make you a farmer. She was not a farmer. I'm not buying that homegirl was a farmer.
To a hunting lodge and you're putting pheasants out and you're putting dogs out. You don't take a puppy out there. A 14-month-old dog is basically a teenager in dog years. You decided to kill that dog because you had not invested the appropriate time in training, and then you have the audacity to go into a book and say it's a leadership lesson about tough choices. It's in your book. We could play it if we had time. At that same lunch hour, you killed a goat. And you killed the goat because you said it was behaving badly. You are a farmer. You don't castrate a goat. They behave badly. You should have probably done that before. But my point is, those are bad decisions made in the heat of the moment, not unlike what happened up in Minneapolis. We're an exceptional nation.
No.
One of the reasons we're exceptional is we expect exceptional leadership. And you've demonstrated anything but that in the time that I've seen you responding to the emergency in North Carolina and across the Southeast, and acknowledging when mistakes are made, and speaking too soon for the expedient of social media or whatever it is. I'll leave you with this, Ms. Nome. I'm expecting answers to Charlotte's Web. I requested it a month ago. That was one of the investigations in Charlotte, 20 minutes from where I live. All I asked for, if it had to be anonymized, was information so that I could determine if your hit rate is right. I want to find more of those people, and I want to detain fewer of the others.
Whoa, dude, I don't want to find anybody. We were doing okay before we were trying to find anybody. I mean, this guy's right about the dog, but he's wrong about everything else. Like, I don't give a fuck, dude. I do not give a fuck. Up next. This is about the detention facilities. Held to the highest standards, higher standards than other detention facilities. That's not really saying much because jails in this country and prisons in this country are horrible places.
Rodney must crawl through that muck and squalor of feces and bodily fluids to enter and exit the shower. This is despicable. It's inhumane torture that no person should have to endure. And today, we have Rodney's wife, Mildred Donis Taylor, and her daughters, please stand, who are United States citizens. Secretary Nome, can you honestly tell Rodney's wife and family and the American people that are watching that these cruel and unusual conditions are acceptable under your watch?
I'm not familiar with this case, and I will certainly look into it and ensure that this center where Rodney is at is held to the same standards as all of our federal detention standards, which are the highest in the nation, overwhelmingly in comparison to other detaining facilities at the local or state level. The other thing that I would say,
I'm reclaiming my time,
is that at any point, Rodney
did you just hear me? What I described?
An opportunity
did
to leave
you just hear what I described? He has to crawl through mold and feces and bodily fluids just to take a shower. He can't even get medical care.
Every one of our
absolute
detainees,
lunacy, and you know it.
Every one of our detainees gets medical care
reclaiming
within
my
12 hours
time,
of being
reclaiming
there.
my time. Ranking Member Jayapal, myself, and 20 of my colleagues, we wrote to you about Rodney's treatment more than 2 weeks ago. Yes or no? Have you actually read the letter?
No, I have not heard of this case, so
Okay,
I will
let me
see
tell
what
you,
that
I
letter
have the
is.
letter right here. And would you like to read it? Because I'm more than happy to bring a staff
That'd be
member
great.
down to
That'd
it.
be fantastic.
Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I will look into the case.
So then, if you're going to look into the case, can you tell us how long it'll be before we actually get a response from you? Maybe 2 weeks?
No, I'll get you a response.
Because
get the information.
we deserve an answer, and Rodney's family definitely deserves an answer, because this is inhumane treatment. And this leads me to believe that there are so many other detainees that are being treated exactly the same way, and this is despicable. Secretary, will you promise his wife and this committee and the American people that you will review? You've said that, but I want you to make a formal promise that you will review Rodney's case and provide a thorough response on whether it's in the public interest to keep him in these conditions, and we'd like to know within the next 2 weeks. Are you telling me within the next
Absolutely.
2 weeks?
I will review this case
Good.
and get a response back
Good.
to you
I will be
and to
following
Rodney's
up with
family.
you as much as it possibly takes.
I do want you to know,
Rodney
Mr.
is
Chairman,
not the
if I may
worst
say-
of the worst. I reclaim my...
Dude, she doesn't give a fuck. She doesn't give a fuck. The cruelty is the point, kind of. Also, like, not for nothing, it ain't going to be her responding. It's going to be that even bigger monster, Mark Wayne Mullen. Oh, here we go. This is great. This is great. This is Representative Moskowitz is going to ask her about the rumors that she'd been fucking Corey Lewandowski. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I'm fucking so here for this. I don't give a shit if she's fucking Corey Lewandowski, but it's funny because, like, because they're like the family values.
You've called Corey Lewandowski a special government employee. I understand what government means. I understand what employee means. Okay, but I don't know what makes him special. Now, I want to give you an opportunity to answer on the record to Ms. Camlonger-Dove's question. I know you said it's garbage, and it may be, but I really think you need to say the word no into the record so that you can clear that up.
I think the ridiculousness of this and the tabloids that you are quoting and referencing are insane. And this has been something that I've refuted for years, and I continue to do that.
So it's a no.
What I would tell you is,
we can move on. Hold on, what you're doing. We can move on. I'm not going to belabor it. If
this is what you do.
Hold on, I'm not doing anything.
Liberal left is you go off and you attack conservative women, and you say that we're either stupid
I haven't
or
said
we're
anything.
sluts.
All right, so listen.
And that's what you do.
Yesterday, Richard, reclaiming my time, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, reclaiming my time. You were asked by Richard Blumenthal yesterday. You were asked by Richard Blumenthal yesterday if Corey was involved in approving contracts. You said no. Do you want to correct that?
What I would say is that he has an advisor to the Department of Homeland Security, has no decision-making authority.
Madam Secretary, do you want to correct it? Yes or no? You don't want to correct it? Fine.
Decision-making authority,
hold on.
no role in
Not a problem. According to one of the FEMA administrators that you fired, there is nothing, including contracts, that is brought to you that he hasn't reviewed. In fact, a significant amount of DHS internal routing documents has his signature on it above deputy secretaries. Okay, that former FEMA administrator wasn't fired by you, the secretary. He was fired by Corey. It was Corey that called him into your office. It was Corey that made him to submit to a polygraph test. The $100,000 spending rule that you created that comes to your desk, you're not even sitting at your desk. It's Corey who's sitting there. ISIS said the Republicans should be happy at the job that you're doing. Really? You're looking at the person who single-handedly took the president's signature core issue, immigration, the issue that got him elected from 59% to 39%. 200 miles of border walls being held up by you. They had to bring in Tom Homan, pull out of Minnesota. I think the country needs a national divorce from you on biblical grounds. I mean, if Donald Trump was still apprentice Trump, he would look at you and he would realize you're the weakest cabinet member and he would fire you. And if the president said to you that only way DHS could reopen is if you resigned, I hope you would take him up on it. Now, I want to end on a happy note, Mr. Chairman, real quickly. The president gave all sorts of stuff out during the State of the Union. I don't want you to leave. I got you a new Coast Guard blankie, the one you lost. Okay, so this is for you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
The gentleman has expired. The gentleman.
I don't like the way that guy was like appealing to like Trump at like I don't know about that, firing her like as we all know, like after this she was canned, but there's Mark Wayne Mullen taking her place, and Mark Wayne Mullen, I mean it's hard to be worse than she is, but I think Mark Wayne Mullen is worse than she is. First of all, I don't think he's as dumb as she is, so he'll be like more effective in his fascism. He'll be better at kind of covering things up. So that's not great. We got more. It just keeps going.
Your agency made a decision not to proceed with competitive bidding, and one of the contractors that got the award was this Safe America Media Company that received $143 million.
Many
right?
vendors got the chance to look at that contract and to participate in it.
So
that is why the two of them were chosen.
That's inaccurate, Madam Secretary. I'll read from the notice from your agency. Given the immediate action to significantly reduce illegal immigration and border crossings, DHS identified 4 companies. 4 of the hundreds of thousands of companies in the United States. You identified 4. One of those is this Safe America Media Company. Where is Safe America Media headquartered?
I don't know.
I don't know either, Madam Secretary. We can't find it. We can't find a website. We did find an address that's registered for this company. Do you know where that address is?
Is there a problem with this contract?
I'll tell you about it.
According to
Madam
law,
Secretary, the
address
is registered to a political operative. Madam Secretary, the company, and then I'll give you an opportunity to respond. The company is registered to a political operative in Virginia. Do you know, just by way of example, whether this company that received $143 million in taxpayer dollars, has it ever done work for the government before?
I don't know. I can't.
The answer is it has not. And do you know why we know that? Because it was incorporated 8 days before this contract went out. You want the American people to believe that this is all above board?
Yes,
that $143 million of taxpayer money just happened to go to this one company that doesn't have a headquarters, doesn't have a website, has never done work for the federal government before, and is registered apparently or attached to a residence from a political operative. And of course, one of the subcontractors of that contract, as you know, is a political firm that's tied to you back when you were governor of South Dakota. The reason why I ask these questions is that this is taxpayer money. And I presume, I don't know this for a fact, but Senator Tillis noted yesterday the way in which your agency is blocking the Inspector General from 11 different investigations that it is trying to conduct. I don't know if this happens to be one of them. I certainly hope it is, because eventually the facts will become public in this regard. And there are serious laws implicated, conflict of interest laws, federal procurement laws, that I believe
all
merit...
followed, all done correctly,
Was
all
it-
done.
I don't know anything about this company, and I have no answers about this. I don't know. I guess it doesn't have a headquarters, and whoopsie poopsie. It's subcontracting this out to somebody who I was associated with when I was the governor of South Dakota. But I actually don't know, but actually it's all above board. This is just self-dealing. We're going to find out, like, assuming that this national nightmare ends or somehow slightly starts to become better and investigations start happening, we're going to be finding out about a lot of fucking fraud and self-dealing. And I think Kristie Noem is going to be one of the main people who was doing it. They just happen to find one here, right? The company is registered to like a person. There's no website for the company, no contact information. It doesn't have a corporate headquarters. Somebody used their own personal residence on their filing for the articles of incorporation. But it's a big enough company, I guess, that it should get a $140 million federal government contract. Also, not for nothing, it's 143. That used to be pager code for I love you. So maybe she's in love with whoever the fuck this company is. So here's Jasmine Crockett, straight off of losing a primary, just right back to work, not taking a couple days to fucking chill out, right back to work. So we're not going to talk too much about that primary, but there were hell mad about everything. Talrico won and Jasmine Crockett went right the fuck back to work. I don't see why everybody was freaking out about that primary. Anyway, here's Jasmine Crockett asking Cosplay Kristie some questions.
Continue on this line of y'all breaking the law. Are you familiar with a child by the name of Liam Ramos?
I am.
All right. So Liam was at this Dilley facility. And it just so happened that we had put in our 7 days notice and y'all had grabbed him 6 days prior to our visit. So we were able to go and visit Liam. Are you aware of the court order that came down that released Liam from custody?
I am.
And are you aware that the judge said the case has its genesis in an ill-conceived and incompetently implemented government pursuit of daily deportation quotas, apparently even if it requires traumatizing children? This court and others regularly send undocumented people to prison and orders them deported, but do so by proper legal procedures. Are you aware of that?
Yes, and I would disagree with the judge on several
I'm sure you
points
would, but
in
can
there.
you tell me whether or not
That
you have a law degree?
Father chose to.
Can you
to
tell
have
me whether or
Liam
not you
be
have a
with
law
him.
degree?
If I have what?
A law degree.
No, I do not have a law
Okay,
degree.
and you do understand, because I can go through a bunch of court cases and orders that I disagree with from the Supreme Court, that ultimately, that is the order of the court. That is what you follow, and if you have an issue, you appeal it up, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. The court went on to say, apparent also is the government's ignorance of an American historical document called the Declaration of Independence. 33-year-old Thomas Jefferson enumerated grievances against a would-be authoritarian king over his nascent nation. Among others were, he has sent hither swarms of officers to harass our people. He has excited domestic insurrection among us, for quartering large bodies of armed troops among us. He has kept us among, in times of peace, standing armies without the consent of our legislatures. Are you aware that he wrote that? Do you know that he was writing about ICE that falls under you?
The judge?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. With that, I will yield, but I do have 2 UCs.
Very nice. Like, again, just fucking shout out to Jasmine Crockett. Tough campaign and just got right back to work. Good for her. So we got one more. This is Congressman Kennedy asking about Stephen Miller, which it's gross. I don't like saying the name Stephen Miller or hearing about him, but you know, it's such is the name of the game around here.
You said these were acts of domestic terrorism, is that right?
Sir, in answer to questions at the press conference that afternoon, it was that it appeared to be.
Yeah. But that's not what she's that the homegirl. You didn't say it appeared to be. We saw the clip just a little bit ago.
It appeared to be acts of domestic terrorism.
And as I've said previously in this hearing, is that
first, Madam Secretary, did you say
we're getting information from a chaotic
reported.
scene on the
Did you say
ground
that?
and relaying information to the American people.
Okay. Now, again, those videos are public. People can draw their own conclusions. I think it'd be safe to say you got some pushback on that.
Mm-hmm.
Would that be fair?
Yes, sir.
And you had some criticism. I'm not saying the criticism was accurate or inaccurate. I think you did. What got my attention was that you blamed those statements on Mr. Stephen Miller at the White House. Did you not?
No, sir, I did not. And in fact, where you're seeing that is in a news article of anonymous sources. And anonymous sources say a lot of things, but I've never said that at all.
Well, here's what you said on the record. I'm going to read your words. Quote, everything I've done at the direction of the president and Stephen.
Sir, where did you see me say that at? You read that in a news article with no sources
affiliated to it. You said it on the record on January 27th of 2026. Did I read your words accurate?
I enjoy working with the president and with Stephen Miller, and that day we were working to get as much information to the American people as possible. That is what we'll continue to do, and as that happens, we'll go forward.
Do you think it was fair to blame Mr. Miller?
Sir, I did not do that. You're reading from a newspaper article with anonymous sources.
Are you denying that you said that?
Sir, I'm not going to speak to that situation that is relayed on anonymous sources that no one has heard me say that.
It was you.
No. Who reported that to that newspaper?
They're quoting you on the record, saying it's Stephen's fault. Thank you.
even that old fucker, that old piece of shit is like, wait, man, come on. So that's it for Cosplay Kristie and her trip to Congress. We only got a few more stories here. Looks like we're going to get in under 2 hours, which is kind of amazing considering, well, I guess it must have been a slow news week. This is so Stephen Miller. He is an expert on human rights. I don't know if you know that. He is an expert on human rights. It just kind of depends on who you think gets to be a human, I suppose.
And the human rights that we are going to protect are not of the savages that torture and rape and murder. The human rights that we are going to protect are of the peaceable citizens who have an absolute human right to live in physical safety and security every day of their lives. And in that mission, I promise you, we will be your closest partner. Thank you.
Human rights expert. Who are the savages? When this guy says savage, I think he just means non-white people. Like, it's fucking pretty clear what this guy believes about the world and stuff. So when he says stuff like that, I know what he's talking about. He's talking about fucking people who aren't white. That's all he means. Maybe people who are white but have the wrong imaginary friend, although I think that guy's probably an atheist. Anyway, there's a guy named Greg Dolezal. No relation, I don't think, to other Dolezal. He's running for lieutenant governor in Georgia, and he has an ad that he put on, I think it got first put on Facebook, but it was it was like this, so it got shared around everywhere. It's fucking insane because these Handmaid's Tale ass motherfuckers want you to believe that it's going to be the Muslims that are going to fucking tell women what to do and shit. Fuck that. Like, that's a crazy fucking ad. I think the rest of this is not going to be as infuriating, at least until we get to red light. Here's a clip from CNBC that, did you know that us homos, we're learning to use tools. Not just dildos.
The debate now is about what is the new job if AI is trying to replicate cognitive work in all kinds of areas, right?
Yeah, so I think that people are really bad at imagining what those are ex ante, and that's always been the case throughout the hundreds of thousands of years of technological progress. For humans, even and before humans too, as as earlier types of homo, homos, just started using tools, right?
I don't even care what he's talking about. Oh, there's different hobos. They be using tools. It's like a garage, So, oh no, it doesn't get more fun after this. This is a Christian nationalist, William Wolf, says that that millions of immigrants must be deported in order to make sure that your kids don't grow up as a minority. Man, I live in a fucking city where I think white people are not a majority. It's fine, baby. It's fine.
I'm a Bible-believing Christian, and we're going to get into why Bible-believing Christians can very easily say, it's time for you to go. But that just sort of rubbed me the wrong way, because I have 3 boys, and I got a 4th boy on the way, and my boys all look like me. And
that's not the fucking. Don't throw your kids are young. They might grow up to be hot. Don't throw them under the bus like that.
I want my children to grow up in a country where they're not minorities. I unapologetically, and I'm sorry if this offends anybody here or anybody who listens to this, I am actually not sorry. I want my boys to grow up in a country where they don't look like they're the foreigners here. That's a good and normal and reasonable thing. Thank you. And there's nothing about my Christian faith that says I can't want that or desire that for myself and for my children.
So these people have a funny idea what foreigner means, right? Because there's a lot of, like, I live in the Bay Area. You go to Fisherman's Wharf in downtown San Francisco, for example. There are a lot of white foreigners there. Maybe not as many now because America's a terrifying fucking place, right? But you can't just look at somebody and decide whether or not they are, and I don't like the word foreigner, but it's his word, right? Lots of different people are Americans. So what he means is white. He doesn't want his kids to grow up in a place where there are too many people that aren't white, which is fucking white nationalism. And man is a fascist. So, I don't know if anybody remembers this. Everything old is new again. We're going to look at something called Flashpoint. This guy's name is Tony Suarez. He's a MAGA pastor. And we're back to talking about the fucking kitty litter boxes, everybody. Remember when everybody was talking about the kitty litter boxes because they were like trans furries and shit? Well, we're going to do that again, maybe. Let's see. Who knows? Anything could happen.
I live in East Tennessee, and I've told the story on Flashpoint before that when one of my kids was in middle school, there was kitty litter boxes in the public schools for the boys or the girls that identify as furries. Yeah. I mean, this is in the Bible Belt, so we have to be watchmen on the wall and say, no, we're going to recover Los Angeles, Chicago, but also the Bible Belt, Tennessee, Texas, Kentucky, Alabama. On our watch, we're not going to allow this, whether it's Islam, wokeism. It cannot infiltrate our schools, and it's going to take moms and dads that are committed to being those watchmen on the wall for the children.
So I looked into this. People were like, oh, it's in case the kids have to pee during a school shooting. No, it's not. You know what the kitty litter is there for? If the kids barf. The kitty litter soaks up the barf. Because you got 35 kids in a classroom. Eventually, one of them's gonna fucking barf. And that's what the kitty litter's for. It's not in a litter box. It's in a bag. It's there for it might be in some kind of other container, but it's there for if the kids fucking barf, because it'll fucking soak that shit up like nothing. Kitty litter is great for soaking up children's barf. So I guess this guy's kids don't barf. Although this guy probably makes his kids go to school sick. Anyway, we got one more. Oh, we got 2 more here. Sharia's coming to Texas, and they're going to outlaw dogs, which is, one of the options they could have said here, I suppose. They could have also said that Sharia is coming and they're going to eat your dog, but they chose to outlaw dogs. It's coming to Texas, though. This is Frank Gaffney.
We call what we're about Operation Bayonet.
It's a 4-phase program that is designed to basically ensure that the people of Texas are made aware of the threat that they are facing from Sharia. I think we've made real headway in that. The fact that 95% of 2 million voters knew enough about this to know that they didn't want any part of it and registered their vote for the proposition that Texas should prohibit Sharia law is a testament to that. But there's an awful lot of other Texans.
Okay, the First Amendment outlaws Sharia law. It's illegal. Sharia law is illegal. It's already illegal. Everybody should agree with that. Not because there's a fucking problem with Islam particularly, but because this is for now, a secular nation.
Who still don't.
Who were the 5 people who didn't want to outlaw Sharia law? Who were the 5% of people who were like, actually, I don't know, maybe.
Anything really probably about Sharia, certainly the threat that it poses to everything they hold dear, including their dogs, which would be prohibited and killed if these Sharia supremacists have their way. But beyond that, even if they do know, they have not been moved so far to express it. So our next phase of this 4-part campaign, we want the governor of Texas to walk the walk. He's done a marvelous job of talking about Sharia and claiming that, real progress is made on it. He did, to his great credit, designate the Muslim Brotherhood and the Council on American Islamic Relations as what they are, terrorist organizations. And, by the way, he threw in for good.
Man, I haven't heard anything about the Muslim Brotherhood since fucking President Blackula, Barack Obama was the president, and they were saying that they're pulling out all kind of old shit.
Transnational criminal ones. And he said they're not allowed to hold real property in the state of Texas. Well, we need that enforced, Governor, among myriad other things. Colleagues of
you can't outlaw somebody from owning property in anywhere because of their religion. You can't do it. It's illegal. You can't do it. Not even in Texas, baby. Nuh-uh. You can't do that. Even the governor of Texas is probably not going to try to do that.
Their marvelous guy at the Texas Public Health Policy Foundation has helped formulate something like, I think it's 36 different initiatives that the governor can and must take now. There's no need to wait for the next legislative session, which doesn't happen until 2007. Bottom line is this.
Steve Bannon is like tired of this bullshit. Sometimes fuck Steve Bannon, but every once in a while somebody starts talking some crazy shit. Steve's like, stop, Frank.
We're ready to go on rolling up this and making it a real voting issue, and we so appreciate your help in doing it.
We got so much more work to do. The first thing is figure out how this had such a massive, big coming together because there's no money.
Oh man, there's no Sharia law. It's against the law. But a Muslim like a Muslim religious group could buy property actually because it's against the law to prevent them from doing that too. We're going to close out with Dan Bongino, a man whose head is a cube but also empty. And Dan Bongino, before we go into red light, is going to talk about how immigrants are going to vote during the midterms. Now, people who immigrate here and are naturalized, they can vote, but I don't think that's what he's talking about.
This happened yesterday, too, up on the Hill. Did you see this exchange? Speaking of illegals, why do the Democrats? Listen, I know you guys want to cheat in elections. Hello, Captain Obvious. Anyone in the chat have any doubts? Anyone have any doubts that the Democrats want to cheat in elections? If you do, I'm sorry, you're on the wrong show. The 70,000 people here, this is the wrong show. You got to watch another show. If you have any doubt, Democrats want to cheat in elections, this is the wrong chat room. You got to find one of his morning zoo shows or something. Of course they want to cheat. That's why they hate the SAVE Act. But there was one particular component of this that I find fascinating. And now the Democrats outed themselves with DHS Secretary Kristie up on the Hill yesterday. The Democrats don't want any immigration enforcement anywhere near polling locations.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, we don't want the goon squad hanging out by the fucking polling locations. Sure.
Well, no doubt in the chat. Well, why is that? Why is that? Why would illegals who cannot vote in federal elections, why would illegals?
Uh-oh. The sound on this just went away. That's crazy. I don't know why the sound on this went away, but I guess I don't give a fuck what he said afterward. Hopefully there's no problem here. Let's see if we go back to the beginning.
This happened yesterday.
Okay, cool. It's just the video is broken. So that's a good way to end the show with Dan Bongino's sound cutting out during a clip. I don't know if that's Media Matters' fault or Dan Bongino's fault, but we'll just blame it on Dan Bongino. Real quick, the reason you don't want the Goon Squad hanging out by the polling places is because the Goon Squad has a history of like just picking up anybody they think like looks Mexican-y. So that's why we don't want them there. Also, like, I don't know, like almost my entire life when I've gone to a polling place, it's like a nice place. There's not cops everywhere. Like you just go in, there's like an old lady there who's like, hi, thank you for coming in. And in my case, you get mail-in ballots. So I just like, I went to the polling place when it was nearby in Campbell because it was literally like a 1-minute walk. And I just walk in and hand it. Oh, so thanks. Yeah, you can put it in the box or I could put it in there for you, sweetie. That's what a fucking polling place is like. Right? It isn't like you walk up and you're like, has this building been occupied by the military? Because that's not the kind of vibe you want at the fucking polling place. That's the kind of vibe they want at the polling place in my neighborhood, though. You better bet it. You better bet. They want that shit all over, but maybe not California, right? There's no advantage for them to do that in California. California is clearly just going to go for the Democrat, but in like swing states, they're going to do that in the cities. They want to do that in the cities. And I don't think they should because I've never been to a militarized polling place in my life. And I feel like the polling place shouldn't be militarized. Maybe I'm just a lib, a snowflake. Maybe I'm afraid of people dressed like the Gravy Seals with guns they don't know how to use. I don't know. I'm not maybe. I find that to be frightening. So that's all that's going on here. And I don't know if they're going to be able to do it. I think that by the time the election comes, these people will have lost almost all of their political capital. And so I don't think they're going to be able to do it. I just don't think they're going to be able to do it. But Dan Bongino, whose head is a cube and also empty, wants them to do it for whatever reason. But real quick on the SAVE Act, it's not going to get through Congress, or it's not going to get through the Senate. Like they can't get past the filibuster. But the things that it's trying to implement, there'd be no possible way to do any of it by November anyway. So it's just like a talking point, so they can say the Democrats voted against the SAVE Act. They stopped us from passing the SAVE Act. That's it. That's it. It like, regardless of the sort of poll taxi sort of aspects of it, or where like you have to go like prove that you married your husband because your name changed when you took your husband's name, or I don't know, maybe some man took his wife's last name. Fucking stranger things have happened. Aside from that, like aside from the fact that that's like a big problem and we can't do it, it's against the Voting Rights Act. Also, like the states, even the states that would like to implement this stuff, they just would not have time to do it anyway. So this is just this is a dog and pony show, right? This is so they can say that the Democrats voted against election security. So then when they lose in the midterms, they can just say the whole thing was rigged because that's what they're going to do. I'm not smart. I didn't fucking figure something out. Like everybody knows that's what they're doing. They're already trying to sow discontent and disbelief in the election because they're going to get clobbered. They're going to get clobbered. Anyway, that's the podcast. And I hope I'm right. I hope they allow there to be an election. Who fucking knows? Who fucking knows? Maybe they'll bomb Oakland and blame it on Iran. I don't fucking know. That's the podcast. Though, if you're listening to the podcast and you've made it this far, actually it's less than 2 hours, which is a huge accomplishment, even though this podcast is only supposed to be an hour. If you're listening on the podcast, check us out live sometime. That is twitch.tv/Echoplex Media. You can support this project at patreon.com/Echoplex or at eplex.store. If you support the $5 level or higher, you don't even need to come watch the live show. You can get the live show sent straight to your inbox the next afternoon. We'll say afternoon. Anyway, that's been the show. This is Boomers by Periscope, and I'm going to change the color of the lights in this room, pour myself a strong fucking drink, and we're going to go on into red light. Speaking of red light, we have little Nikki Fuentes and Alex Jones talk about the midterm elections. Laura Loomer's hella mad. We got Rob Schneider, remember Deuce Bigelow, male gigolo, on the Epoch Times show. And then Eric Weinstein's crazy ass is out in the media again, and he had a conversation with Piers Morgan. So red light is going to be stupid. Be right back.